Now, for an hour on the timer, because we want to check it in an hour so it doesn't burn up our food, or all of them might have to add water or something. So let's put the timer on for 1 hour. Okay, now let's finish our marinara sauce. Now the marinara sauce is easy from here, okay? It's so easy. We take our pan, turn it on high. Beautiful. Okay, and then all we do is we simply a non-meat tomato sauce. We're going to use this for the pizza and for the ravioli. Now the reason we're using marinara for the pizza and the ravioli, if you want to hear a little concept, is this. The reason that we're going to use that is because the ravioli is going to have so much flavor in it that we don't want to mess up the ravioli with meat sauce on top of it. It's going to be a spinach and cheese ravioli. So we want the sauce to be light so it doesn't cover up the flavor of the spinach and the cheese. That's why we use a non-meat sauce for the ravioli. And for the marinara, the same thing that we're going to use for the marinara sauce that we use for our pizza sauce, for the same reason. Because if you put meat sauce on a pizza, it's just not going to work. You know that. Because it's going to start overpowering the other flavors. No one puts meat sauce on a pizza. So that's what we're doing. Now we're making the marinara. The pan's hot. You can, I think we really don't have to do anything but put in this paste. Okay, toasted right here. Come and show them how to toast the paste. Bring that in. Okay, we get all that paste in there. And then we just let that toast for a minute. And then once that's toasted, takes a moment, you can smell it actually. You can smell it, there it is. You smell that smell? You want to get it before it starts to burn the pan, but when you smell that smell, cooking is largely odors and aromas and scents and fragrances and smells and everything in the olfactory sense. Now we add the sofrito that we made before, that wonderful sofrito. Okay, that gives the flavor, and we stir it in here. You might want to come over here, and we're going to add a little water. About 3/4 of a cup. We're going to stir this. Okay, we're going to add the water and see how it's thickening up here. And what we want to do is let that get nice and hot and add a little more water and turn the flame down. And that's there's 3 sauces there. All 3 tomato sauces were made in less than 30 minutes. Okay. So if you can make 3 different, here's the pomodoro. There's the pomodoro, look at that, it's getting very brown. Now we don't want to burn our rosemary, so let's turn this pomodoro down. Oops. Let's turn the pomodoro down to a low, let it slow cook now at 250. Okay, that was pretty. We'll turn the light off not to waste electricity. So you got 3 sauces here. You got your pomodoro, you got your ragu that needs to cook for about 3 hours to be any good, and then you've got your marinara, which we'll use for the ravioli and the pizza sauce. Okay, so now we're going to add a little more. See, that's nice and thick, but we're going to add a little more water because we're going to turn it down and let it cook slowly. The secret to Italian sauce is to let it cook a long time. Okay, so we're going to turn this down. And this is our famous lid that's the famous flopping lid. Now it's not floppy anymore. Always clean tomato sauce off your wall so it doesn't make a bigger. Now let's take a look at our meat sauce, and let's finish up the sauce section now so we can move on to the next part and the last part. There's 2 more parts that we have to do before we assemble everything. We have to make pizza dough and bread dough, which is the same thing basically, and we have to make some pasta dough, which I'm going to use to make the spinach and the cheese ravioli. So what shall we do first? Let's get the bread started because bread has to rise for an hour. Make sure we didn't forget anything. So look, that's boiling nicely. We can turn this over. It's going to get nice and tender. We could actually turn it down a tad. It's on high, so we'll turn that down to medium. And this one too, let's take a look at this one. It's going at a nice low, slow cook. See that? So that's your marinara, no meat. And this is your ragu using top round. I forgot to tell you what kind of meat you use. It's top round roast. Maybe I said it, but I want to emphasize it. Top round, not bottom round, not any other kind of round, but use the top round because it's really going to give you a flavor like being home with your mama in Florence and petting the cow. Alright, now, here we go. By the way, when we use the wine, we could have used white wine. Some people in the north of Italy, in Florence, they use white wine when we poured the wine over the sofrito. They use white wine in some parts of the country, especially in northern Italy, where the French had more of an influence, and we use red wine in the south, where there's other influences. But there's any kind of wine is good. You can use white wine. You can use red wine. I don't recommend using wine that's very cheap because unless it tastes good, it might taste good. But I don't recommend using wine that's very cheap because you're going to get a cheap product. So now let's put this stuff on the back burner.